Fundamentally, so many different people serve so many different purposes in our society. And something that I asked myself a while ago in an astronomy program was, why are we doing this, right? It was, we could be discovering so many other things, but we're like not even like sending things to space. We're like thinking about the data that has come back from it. And it's not that thinking about that data is stupid, but like my whole project was finding stellar obliquities, which is like inclination relative to a different plane, but like basically you're finding the inclination of a star. Like, cool. I thought it was cool. Like, the math was awesome and it was interesting, but only to a certain extent, because at some point I lost interest under the guise of, how is this going to help anybody? Not just me, but anybody. And I did eventually find an answer. I think so many different scientists have a place in our world, and so many more than we realize, right? Like, studies of prime numbers, like ancient studies of prime numbers, are the reason why encryption works today, right? Why you're able to have a password that works and that nobody can figure out. And researchers at CERN, like the particle physics place, built the World Wide Web just to share data between like a couple computers, right? Things come from everywhere. Things come from where you least expect them. And it's the same thing that I was talking about with sports yesterday. This is going to be a sister video to it, because fundamentally they're not that different from one another, scientists and athletes. And the scientists, they have so much more self-expression than you think, right? They might want to use a certain procedure because they like it. They might want to use a certain programming language when they're analyzing their data because they like it, because it's fun, because it's comfortable. And I think there's a lot more to it than that, in terms of why we have these scientists doing these obscure things. And for example, here's another one: studying how pond bacteria fights off viruses led to CRISPR, right? The gene editing technology, which is a huge plus for humans all around. But just like in sports, where you get these unbelievable stories, that are about things that happen on and off the field, right? That are about certain characters doing things. And by characters, I do mean like real humans. But what I'm saying is that you learn so many things about your life by studying these types of cases, right? By studying, obviously here in these situations that I'm mentioning to you, there was a specific output that led to something, right? Like, as in, we found CRISPR by studying pond bacteria. Great. What I'm saying is, when you see the failure or success story of a scientist or of an athlete, right, that can tell you something about how you should try. That can tell you about something about how you should be okay with being interested in certain things. That can tell you about how everything can discover everything else. But what stands for it even more are just the results, right? Just the fact that there are so many things in our world that were discovered from things that you would never imagine them to be. From people just, again, being so obsessed with what they want to do, with what they're interested in, with putting their head down and studying and becoming the best at their thing, that they end up helping everyone. And that's a huge deal, in my opinion. For example, physics tests on crystal patterns unlocked the structure of DNA and modern drugs. Whatever that means. But for example, another one is high pressure marine biology gear inspired the tough rubber used in modern car tires, right? Something that you might use every single day. Now, it's the same thing as athletes. This is the large point. It's the exact same thing, right? Is that there is an artist and there is a scientist inside of what I'm going to call the investigator. The investigator is going to, because I want to say scientist in a different context, I'm going to call what I have been calling a scientist, I'm going to now call them an investigator for the rest of this video. But there is a part scientist and a part artist in the investigator. And the part scientist looks at all of the empirical data that's receiving, right? Is all of this thing that I'm interested in, right? It's analyzing data. It's looking at how to go next. It's thinking about what the best play is. But fundamentally, you might take that rationality and throw it into the garbage when your soul screams out to you to do something else, right? When you are sure for no reason at all, or for some reason that you can't explain why something is right. Just like the football player, right? He has a play that's played out, he catches it, and then he says, you know what? I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna do the thing that I feel like doing right now. Every single player in every sport that did something weird or unexpected, just like that, I don't like this comparison, but just like the AI, when he won Go, it won Go, I'm sorry. Just like when it won Go, it was playing very weird, right? It was on the brink, not on the brink, but like not on the path to victory, we'll say, before it won. And the commonality between all of these events is just that nobody can explain to you that feeling of connectedness with their work, with knowing what to do without being able to explain how they know what to do, is really interesting in my opinion, and is really something that we should focus on, because that is artistry. When that happens, that is called artistry. When you do something against the rational brain and it turns out even better. And I think so many discoveries from in our world come from that, right? So many of our best stories, so many of what makes us human come from that. And in my opinion, that can only come from people just doing what they love, doing what they're interested in, following their gift, I suppose, their passion. And if you don't think you have a gift, I just think that you haven't found your gift yet, because genuinely, like, there are so many people that are better at things and cannot explain to me why, and it's really frustrating because they're just better than me at something and they don't know why, right? I would even like an explanation to say that's a gift and that's it. I would be okay with that, but frankly, lean into your gifts. But what I'm saying is that contributing to the world is not something on, I'm going to follow the scientist path. I'm going to follow, the medicinal path. Like, that is true. You will end up contributing to the world, but not in the same way as if you followed your own path, as if you followed what your soul calls out for you to do, and as if in the situation where you were able to follow yourself and be happy be content with being interested in whatever you are interested in, and furthering that and aligning your actions with your thoughts and with your cravings, and thus allowing yourself to contribute to the world in your maximum ability, right? To have that piece of art, just having one moment in your life where you're able to go against rationality because you know it so well, because you're so connected to your work, because you just have that spiritual connection with it, I think is really beautiful. And I think one good example of this is Markiplier, who's been really open about his career. And if you don't know him, he's a YouTuber. He was a gaming YouTuber. He still is. And he was one of the first on the website before it was on YouTube, before it was a career, before it was anything really of substance. When it was just a website of people sharing videos, he would share videos of various different things, and then he started gaming. And people ended up really liking them. And the way he describes his own story is that he was so obsessed with YouTube, right? He was so obsessed with this idea that he could do this thing, that he decided that he was going to make it work as a career before there was earning on YouTube, right? Before that existed. It's just like insane. It's just like, it's stupid. Like, it's so insane that it's stupid. And just the fact that he had like this idea to do this, it's crazy because it worked out. It's so crazy because it worked out. That's what makes it so special. And genuinely, like, he's saved lives with his art, with his videos. There are many stories about that are really sad and then turn out to have a happy ending because of him in some way, shape, or form. But that is called contributing to society. And I don't know what else it would be if not that. And that's just finding your passion and actualizing it and being able to follow it through with just your own will and your own work, and following your soul and what you want to do. right? And so these scientists, it's the same way. All of the ones that discovered all of these things that I just listed to you, it's just that. It's just that, my friends. I think that's the secret, is to follow yourself and be happy in that way, where you're following yourself and you're listening to the things that you crave for, that you want to do, that your mind calls for. And just like the athlete is part scientist and part artist, the investigator is part scientist and part artist. What will you do? What is your passion that integrates all of the different things that you like doing? The job that you're at right now, does it feel fulfilling? And if not, what can you do to fill that part? I'm not saying that your job must be the one that makes you that is the passionate one, but I'm saying, how can you fill all of those slots within yourself? I hope you learned something. Thank you, and have a great day.